You make a pretty good margarita for a Yankee." She set her glass down. "Why don't you make me another?"
"Okay, but two's your limit. You're not passing out in my bar. I'm not calling your Texas Ranger husband and telling him I let his wife fall off one of my bar stools and hit her head."
"Such drama. I'm not getting myself drunk, and you'd call Gran, not Jack, because Gran's just up the street and Jack's in San Antonio. And I know you're not the least bit intimidated because he's a Texas Ranger." Jim Haviland gave her a half smile.
68 degrees in San Antonio.
Susanna refused to let him get to her. He was the father of her best friend in Boston, her own father's boyhood friend, and a surrogate uncle to her these past 14 months since she'd been on her own up north. He was opinionated, solid, and predictable. "Are you going to make me that margarita?" she asked.
"You should be in Texas with your family."
"I had Maggie and Ellen for Thanksgiving. Jack has them for Christmas and New Year's." Jim scowled.
"Sounds like you're divvying up dibs on the neighborhood snowblower."
"It doesn't snow in San Antonio," Susanna said with an easy smile. She'd put an imaginary protective shield around her to get her through the night, and she was determined nothing would penetrate it. Not guilt, not fear, not thoughts of the only man she'd ever loved. She and Jack had done the holidays together last year. That hadn't worked out very well. Their emotions were still too raw, neither ready to talk. Not that her husband was ever ready to talk.
"You know," Jim said, "if I were Jack—"
"If you were Jack, you'd be investigating serial killers instead of making me margaritas. What fun would that be?" She pushed her glass across the bar toward him. "Come on, a nice, fresh margarita. You can reuse my glass. Hold the salt this time if you want."
"I'll hold the liquor before I hold the salt, and I'm not reusing your glass. Health laws."
"There are 6 other bars within walking distance," Susanna said. "I have on my wool socks. I can find somebody to serve me another margarita."
"They all use mixes."
But Jim Haviland didn't call her bluff. He snatched up her empty glass and set it on a tray, then grabbed a fresh glass. His bar was impeccably clean. He offered one nightly dinner special and kept an eye on his customers, running his bar in strict accordance with Massachusetts law. People didn't come to Jim's place to get drunk. It was a true neighborhood pub, as old-fashioned as its owner. Susanna had always felt safe there, welcomed, even when Jim was on her case, and she wasn't at her nicest herself.
"I shipped Iris and her pals up a gallon of chili," he said. "How do you like that? Even your 82-year-old grandmother's having more fun on New Year's than you are."
"They're playing mahjong until 5 minutes after midnight. Then they're calling it quits and going to bed." Jim eyed her again, less critically. He was a big, powerfully built man in his early 60s who treated Susanna like an honorary niece, if a wayward one.